Kim is going to put in the chat right now a PDF, and what this PDF, we'll put it in the chat again at the end, but click on the link, and if you, at the end of this, what you can do is that link has all the links to everything we're going to talk about right now. And so you don't have to write everything down. You don't have to feel like, oh my gosh, she talked about this, or they talked about this, or whatever, and I don't know how to get back to it. It's an entire PDF that has active links where you will be able to get back to and find everything we talk about here tonight. So do not worry that please just feel like you can pay attention, or if you have to run off to put a kid to bed or something like that, that all the information will be there. That will also be a link on the YouTube channel when we post this later this week. So again, hi to the 8th grade parents. So glad you're here. So glad everybody else is here, of course, too. We do the Summer Opportunities Forum in January because I don't know about you, but I know a lot of people are starting to figure out their summers, and we want to give you as much information as possible so that you can do that. Now, not everything is scheduled because it is a lot to ask for everybody to schedule their everything that's happening at the school and other places, this early. But what we do bring you is we want you to know what may be happening and where you can go to look for information when it is finally posted. And things will be posted if it's not already there within usually a couple of weeks. Most everything that's going to be talked about here will be posted online, and there will be more information in a couple of weeks, or at least you can sign up so you can get emails about it later, that kind of thing. So we just wanted to be able to give you that information because we used to do this program a couple of months later, and by then everybody was like, I had my whole summer scheduled and now I've got to change everything, or I'm going to miss X, Y, and Z because I didn't know what was happening. So our goal here tonight is really to give you an overview of the things happening in our community that are going to happen in the summer, so you know how to schedule them, because there are a lot of summer things happening, especially with the high school, that we want you to know about. So we're going to start off tonight by talking with our administrators. Mr. Eldred, Mr. Bryant, and Ms. Blackwood are all here. And I'm going to bring up let's share this. Hopefully this will work. Can you all see that? Hopefully, yes. And I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Eldred. He can start the night off.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here. I know it's only January, and yet we are talking about summer, but it's a good time to start thinking about the months ahead and how to plan and to get ready for the opening of school, especially if you are an incoming ninth grade family, ninth grade parent. It's not, my opinion personally, it's not all high school is not all that scary these days. If you went to school in the 70s and 80s, if you remember, that was scary. But nowadays, pretty safe, almost pretty boring, actually. So here's what I want to talk to you about first, actually, is the importance of downtime over the summer. I know everybody really wants to load up their schedule and take summer school classes, and they want to make sure that they cram in as many extra, educational opportunities as they possibly can. While that's a great idea, it's not always the best fit for every student. Remember how important it is for our students' social and emotional well-being to make sure that they get some downtime over the summer. It's their opportunity to sleep in. It's their opportunity to control their own schedule. It's their opportunity to spend time with friends and family and other people that they don't normally get to see during the school year because of sports or other academic responsibilities. So it really is key to be able to have that time as a young person to sort of recharge your batteries and get ready for the new school year. And that includes travel, which is so important, I think, for young people to get them to be able to see places beyond Southern California and to get to meet people in other places and experience things in other parts of the world that they normally don't. Because I think it really makes a well-rounded member of our community. But if you want to hang out with us and do summer school, you are more than welcome to. There is going to be summer school, as there is every year, through SPEF. And by the way, if you have not donated to SPEF, make sure you do, because Summer school is one of the amazing things that they are able to make possible for our students in our community. The office is open during summer school for SPEF parents and students for whatever needs they have. And just know that once summer school comes to an end, the main office is shut down completely for a full 2 weeks between this year, July 22nd and August 2nd. That's for a lot of reasons. Number one, people in the office need to take a vacation. Number two, it's when we get an opportunity to do some deep cleaning in that part of the facility, as well as the rest of campus. So when I say that the main office is closed between July 22nd and August 2nd, it's pretty much the entire campus is shut down. We also want to give you a heads up way ahead of time. We have the main parking lot that's going to be closed, as it says on there, between June 6th, literally right after the day after graduation, until August 8th. And that is for the solar panel construction that's going to be taking place in the main parking lot all summer long. So yes, it's going to impact things as far as dropping off students for summer school, etc. But SPEF will work all that out, and we'll come up with a plan to help you make sure that your student gets to summer school on time. But just know that the parking lot right now is scheduled to be closed all of June, all of July, and through the first week of August. We have registration and orientation tentatively coming up the week of August 5. It's on the calendar right now, tentatively for August 8 and 9 for our juniors and our seniors and our sophomores and our freshmen, with freshman orientation taking place the following Monday on August 12th. But that's tentatively. It won't be hard and fast on the calendar until we have our calendar meeting in early May. But that's where it's sort of settling into right now. First day of school is August 14. I can hardly wait. It's almost here. It feels like it's tomorrow, actually, for us that are already in programming mode, like counselors and administrators. And lastly, for those of you that are new to South Pasadena High School, I just want to talk about briefly some communication steps that we utilize at South Pasadena High School. And this is really when there's an issue or a problem or something where you feel like you need something addressed. We really like to build agency with our students and really give them the ability to solve their problem on their own, because eventually they're going to have to when they become adults. So the first step, whenever there's an issue about anything, whether it's a mistake in attendance or there's a problem with a grade or an issue with anything else, the student really needs to have the conversation with the teacher first. If the student feels at that point that they haven't, gotten the result that they want, or really haven't been able to resolve it in a way that they feel is satisfactory, then the next step is for the parent to reach out for the teacher, have a conversation. And if that still is resulting in something that everybody feels is unsatisfactory, at that point, it's appropriate to contact an assistant principal under your alpha. And the assistant principals will be introducing themselves soon, and you'll know who your assistant principal is based on your last name. And at that point, even if the assistant principal doesn't seem to be able to work out a solution that's amenable for everybody, then you would finally find yourself sitting across a table from me, and then we would work it out from there. So these steps really are in place to give everybody the opportunity, especially the student and the teacher, to be able to have a conversation, to solve problems, and to really, give everybody the opportunity to keep open those lines of communication and make sure that everybody has the opportunity to be seen and heard and feel like they matter. That's all I got.
So let's see. We're now going to go on to community service hours.
That is me. Hello, everyone. I'm Vanessa Blackwood, assistant principal. I oversee the latter half of the alphabet, Lee through Z. And today we're going to start off here with some community service hours information. The community service hours information is found on our school website, and I'm going to post the link here in just a second. in the chat. And it's important to know that students are expected to complete 45 hours by May their senior year. So I know it seems like you have a ton of time right now before having to get it in, but it does sneak up on you. We do have a log for students to fill out throughout their process of doing community service. And that's easily found also on the school website. Once students do a couple of hours or like a weekend of hours or as many as they want for a certain amount of time, they could turn it into either Mr. Bryant's technician or my own. And they're in charge of putting the hours into the students' areas. So it's never a question of how many hours they have. However, I would think that it's a really great idea to keep track on your own or make copies of their logs before they turn it in. So there isn't any question as to how many hours your student has. And let's see. And also the thing about community service hours is that it's supposed to be done through a nonprofit organization. So we have a list here of suggested nonprofit organizations for your student to choose from. It could be as simple as like a church event, or let's say they're refereeing for AYSO, something of that nature. There's a lot of opportunities around our neighborhood to help the kids along. Okay, I'm going to pass it off to the next slide.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chad Bryant, and I am also an assistant principal at the high school. I covered the first half, or as I like to call the best half of the alphabet. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about outside courses. So students at South Pasadena High School are permitted to take outside courses, but with a couple of caveats that I wanted to bring to your attention this evening that are listed here. So really there are 3 points that are worth remembering. The first one and most important one is that prior approval is always required whenever students want to take any outside courses. So typically this is a conversation that's initiated at the student level, either as a product of a conversation with their counselor, or they're welcome to come talk to me. We are the ones who make the approval as to whether or not it can be put upon a student's transcript. And that brings us to another one of the important points, which is that students can have a maximum of 3 outside courses that can be added to their South Pasadena transcript. So not only does it appear on their transcript, but it can also factor in to their GPA. When we are looking for courses, and part of the approval process is we're really looking for programs that are WASC accredited, just like we are at the high school. This is our sort of check to make sure that it's rigorous and that it meets our exacting educational standards at the high school. And so we want it to be consistent with that level of rigor that we offer. So again, here, there's kind of a recommended procedure. A great first step for students that are wanting to take any outside courses is to have a conversation with their counselor. To the right here is a sample of what our outside course request form looks like. Kind of piggybacking on what I mentioned about the maximum of 3 on their transcript, students are permitted to take as many outside courses as they want for enrichment purposes. So let's say a student is really interested in engineering and they want to take something on their own that, through PCC, that will give them some skills that may benefit them in their future college or career path. They can do that, but just remember that the limit for transcript purposes is 3. And oftentimes what we have each year is a certain number of students that will take outside courses. They don't necessarily need or want it on their SPHS transcript. They'll take it and then they would submit that as a separate transcript to any future colleges that they apply to. Down at the bottom is just a reminder on timelines. As a part of the process of getting it approved and filling out this form, students will put a date when the course is going to be finished. And then we have a requirement that when the course is done, we expect transcripts from whatever that issuing institution is to be shared with us within 15 days of the completion date, just so that we can track it and note that on our records. And that is outside courses. I'll kick it back over to Ms. Blackwood for the next slide.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant. Just a little summer tidbit here. So we do have some courses that require summer assignments. In the past, we've had principles of biomed have like a packet to be turned in before kids come back to class, but that's not going to be the case any longer. So if your student is interested in the biomedical pathway and they start with the first step, they are not expected to have summer work. So that's awesome for your freshmen. However, the upper level courses, AP courses, have summer assignments, and all of these are found on our school website. And you'll notice here calculus, statistics, biology, environmental science, physics, chemistry, English language and literature. We have AP Chinese, Spanish, French, and computer sciences that will need some extra work during the summertime. And the students are aware of this. And I'm sure you heard or saw the Parent Square that we have AP teacher meetings throughout this week and next week during lunchtime for students to come and take a look and see what's expected of them in all of these AP courses before they make some decisions. So as freshmen, you don't really need to worry about this just yet. Our first AP courses that are available are for sophomores. So that could be a possibility for an AP course for their sophomore year. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we're going to turn it over to CB Richards, who is our athletic director, and he's going to talk about athletics for the summer.
All right. Hello there. Thank you for having me. And real thanks for Kristen for helping me get you guys set up. She told me all the questions everybody wants to know for summer. The big one was, when am I going on vacation? And so the big one for us to start with is, I'm just going to piggyback off what Principal Eldridge kind of said about, we want you guys to get out and experience vacation summer. And a lot of times our student athletes will tell you, no, I have to be here for the whole summer, every single practice, every single minute to join. And that's always not the case. We want them to be there when there is a tryout, and there's definitely have practice times, but it doesn't mean that they can't miss here and there as long as they communicate that with the coaches and the staff. And so we have a new thing up here. The first thing you'll see on this slide is summer dead period. It sounds worse than it is. Don't worry, the sports are going to come back. Summer dead period is a term from CIF Southern Section for when the school is quiet in sports. We have no sports during that period. Coaches cannot meet with athletes for 14 days. For us, we take our summer dead period for all sports. We have 13 different sports, boys and girls, so it comes out to about 24 different sports between the boys and girls. We take that from June 6th, the day after graduation, to June 19th. So there will be no sports during that time. It's a quiet campus. It's the greatest opportunity for you to take your vacation. If you wanted to do something early in June, go check out some national parks, do those things at that time, travel. That's a perfect time to do it. You will have no conflicts with any sports. What we do offer, if you are in town, we do have, you can still work in the weight room as long as we have one of the athletes that are one of the coaches that's there to supervise. And I'll have more details on that later. But it's totally, we want you to get out and enjoy time with your family. Now that dead period, sports come roaring back to life June 20th. And so June 20th on through the rest of the summer, we have a lot of different things. We have tryouts, we have practices, tournaments even, and some camps. A lot of different camps are going on through there. As you can see, Kristen, do we have the list of the link to the showing which teams are having practices and tryouts?
Yeah, I've added those to the chat.
Okay, great. So what I did was on the school website, we've got a link to every single team. I have all teams on there, and I have the dates they're doing tryouts during summer. In the past few years, we've tried to do all tryouts for all sports in the summer, and it worked great for some and not great for others. So in the administration's view and my view, we had a chat and we kind of tweaked it a little bit, keeping it for most of the fall sports and some of the winter sports, but we were able to pause the tryouts for some of the spring sports. So we have that on the website, the days and times of the trials. And some of the sports will compete in the fall that will have tryouts. And some of the other ones, kind of soccer, track and field. I'm the head track and field coach. I can speak for that. Those will be done in the fall. And they'll be added into the class at that time. What we want you to do is on that same webpage, if you go on the school website, there is a link onto athletics, and it has tryout information. I just added a Google form on there, and Miss Kristen will have that up for you, and that will ask you for contact information and the sports you're interested in. So even if we don't have a tryout, we would still like you to go onto that website, either incoming 8th graders, returning students that are new. We want you to go on that website, fill that information out, and it'll generate an email to your coach to let them know they can send you information for the tryouts come this fall. On that note, I'm just going to speak a little bit to the 8th graders, parents that are coming into South Pasadena. There is a need for PE credit. We have 4 semesters of PE that's needed. A team sport counts as one of those semesters. So for instance, I'll just use football. If you play football in the fall, that counts as a PE credit for your first semester. Then if you transitioned over and played a spring sport, that would be the second semester PE credit, and that student would not need to take a PE class during the regular schedule. Now, one of the things that I get asked, and we just had this on the 8th grade night, was there's 3 seasons of sports, but there's only 2 semesters. So what happens with the winter sports? The winter sports fall into the spring semester for PE credit. So that would be our basketball, soccer, and girls water polo. Any of those, doing any of those sports, you would get PE credit second semester. One more thing I'll add on that is we've just started to add in fall training classes for some of the spring and winter sports that would also give your student athlete PE credit. For instance, we will have a fall baseball class and a fall softball class, fall basketball, fall soccer class. Not every sport has it, but a lot do. So we'll make sure that's on the website as well too, telling you which sports have fall classes. And those athletes that either try out or contact the coach, they can go ahead and be assigned to that class and have that fall credit. So that's a great thing to have. Let's see, what else do we have here? We got coaches contact. Everybody has a lot of questions about practice and those things, what to bring and what to expect. On that website, on the school website, there's a coach's contact. I have every coach's email on there, and you can reach out to the coach. I would suggest that if you send an email to the coach, you can also CC me in the email. That way, if the coach doesn't get back to you, I can see that they might be on vacation. I'm able to answer that question, or the athletic director can answer the question and let you know what is the facilitation for your answer a little bit faster than if the coach isn't able to get back to you. So please CC me on those emails, and I'm happy to get back to you on everything there. Some sports do not have tryouts. On that same page, we have the sports that have tryouts, and some are just sign up. Football, come on out. We'll make you a great football player. I guarantee it. Cross country, you can come out for cross country. As long as you're dedicated and stay with the team, you'll be on the cross country team. They'll give you those opportunities. Some of the other sports do have tryouts, and you can find that information there. Last thing is practice during summer. So there is a lot of practice time during summer, and we do have those things. But like, again, we will put that up on the website and tell you the practice days. I'll give you an example with football. They'll come back to life after this dead period, and they'll roar back to life on June 20th. They'll practice through summer school, which ends July 19th. And then they're going to go on a break from July 19th until, I believe, July 29th. So they have about 10 days off right there. And every sport has a similar thing, a similar time period on practice. And I'll make sure to get that on the website as well, too. So I think that covers most of the thing in athletics. Looks like we just won 2 championships on girls and boys basketball. We have to finish out a couple games this week, but looks pretty strong there. And girls water polo and both soccer are vying for playoff spots. And we start CIF for the winter sports this week, or I'm sorry, next week. And we'll look to see the Tigers in the newspaper and going pretty far in a little nice CIF playoff runs here for all the teams. So on that note, thank you so much. And Kristen, any other questions I need to answer at this time?
not right now. We're gonna do some questions in a little bit. I'm gonna let Spef speak and then we'll do questions for all of
Okay,
you.
thanks so much, everybody. I'll talk to you soon.
I want to thank CB for doing that. He got all this information as much as he has together, which is amazing in the last week. So it's a hard one. There's a lot of coaches to coordinate with. So I just want to thank you. And
Thank
this
you.
is the QR code, but both those things he talked about are in the chat. So you can look at the schedules that he's put together so far that has a lot of information so far. And if you have any interest, please fill out this form or the link is in the chat so that your student can get information about sports in the future. So thank you. Now we're going to pass it over to Amelia Aldana to talk about Spef.
Okay, hi everyone. I am here to talk about Spef Summer School. There are lots of classes available. We offer preparation classes for 9th grade, meaning that for incoming 8th graders, there is a health class that's really popular. There are also some other options. I definitely recommend logging in when that catalog comes out on February 7th to see what opportunities there may be for your kids and have them take those classes. There are also recovery classes. If any SPHS student gets less than a C in any of their core classes, they are able to recover them to make up the grade and hopefully get higher than a C. There are advanced credit classes available, meaning AP courses and honors courses as well. They're both online and in-person options. Online, we use something called Edgenuity. They do move at a pace that's kind of at the student own pace, and a lot of kids do like those. The in-person classes are also do note that those dates are different than the middle and elementary summer school dates, which are going to be June 10th to July 5th because of the solar panels and the construction in the parking lot that Principal Eldred mentioned. There won't be class on June 19th or July 4th. As always, we do want to make it very clear that there are scholarships or reduced payment plans available if anybody needs anything for any reason, whether it's medical bills or challenges. Chances are we can help. And there are always volunteering opportunities. We always need, student helpers. I know they mentioned those volunteer hours for helping out with various, nonprofit work and things like that. So yes, students can volunteer and help out. We also have volunteer opportunities for our summer camps. We always need parents to especially man like the first day and hand out schedules and things of that nature. And we're always also looking for teachers, and those positions are not volunteer positions, but if you are interested, please contact Brian E. Cox, that's B. Cox at spefforkids.org, and that's all for summer school. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Now, I don't always do questions right away, but because the rest of this evening is just me talking, I'm going to do questions for the speakers who are here. They might still stay till the end, but I want to at least get some of those questions done while we've talked about all of that. But first, I am going to pass it back to CB because he forgot to talk about one or two things. So go ahead, CB.
Great. Okay, I have a couple more things just to add real quick. It's really important is athletic clearance. I kind of got caught up on the tryout part, but every athlete every year needs to be athletically cleared, and that means online. There's a lot of paperwork to fill out in regards to SPUSD clearing the athlete, as well as physicals. Every athlete every year needs a physical from their doctor, and we've partnered most recently with a local urgent care that offers free medical physicals during the summer. I believe I'm going to double check, and this we'll put on our website as well, but I believe it's from the end of May through September 1st. Free physicals. You could go in, get the physical done. Everything's done digitally now, so you don't have to turn in any paperwork. You can just upload a picture of it to home campus. It's all talked on it through our website, the athletic website. I wanted to make sure everybody knew about that. And you could go to your doctor, no problem. But if you need a physical and need some coverage, urgent care in Pasadena, they pick it right up. And we'll put all that information on there. Thanks for coming back to me. That's it.
Yeah, no problem. We did the free ones last year. It was the easiest thing in the world. We made an appointment. We're in and out in like 5 minutes. So
Perfect.
Okay, so while I've got you, first question, can we get a doctor's clearance now for the fall?
Oh, okay. Yes. The physicals actually are good for 1 year, one annual 12-month period. So if you were basically now, you'd be good until this time next year in January. So they're good for 12 months from the moment in time. And we track them, and it gives you about a month out when they're going to expire, so you can get that done, because we know not everybody can walk in and get it done right away. So yeah, they're good for 1 annual year.
Continuing with the athletics, do sports practices over the summer conflict with SPEF summer school classes?
Not particularly. Sometimes, actually, no, they don't at all, pretty much at all. There's some morning classes for cross country because of the heat, so they try to run earlier in the morning, but that's on the website. I think they're going from 6 a.m. or 6:30 a.m. to 7:30, 8 o'clock a.m. before class. And then all the other sports will start up in the afternoon. We try to, obviously the indoor sports can start earlier, but with the heat, we try to push most of the outdoor sports to, 4 o'clock or on. So they're not any heat stroke issues or any type of heat issues going on. So there's no conflict with the SPEF classes at all.
And then one more question for you, CB. Are sports teams filled first come, first serve, or is it okay to try out during second tryouts?
Okay, so the sports teams are filled at the tryout, but then again, there's always a case-by-case situation. So if an athlete was not here during summer, but you communicated with the coach, an email said, "Hey, I'm not here, but I'm interested in coming out," that coach will take it case-by-case situation and fill it from there. Now, anybody we obviously put on the team, we're not going to come back and say we found someone else and now your seat's been taken. We'll keep that athlete on the team. If they made the team, they stay on the team. We just increase the rosters slightly in that position. So
Great. Thank you so much.
okay.
So we have a few questions about the volunteer hours. Can 8th grade students now use any of the hours that they're getting at the moment for their high school hours?
At the moment in 8th grade, no, but once they finish 8th grade, yes.
So June 6th on, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then I had that question a couple different ways, so I'm just double checking. I didn't miss one on here. Okay. And then we have questions about some of the APs. Are there any plans to add AP Physics C or E?
Not at this time.
Great. Do SPEF summer classes count as outside courses and require prior approval?
They do not, no.
Great. Sorry, there's a lot in the chat. Can students take art during the summer as an incoming freshman? So I assume maybe to get your VPA done before you come in, because you might have a child like one of mine who has no desire to do a VPA ever.
I'm not sure that SPEF usually offers an art class at the high school. We have a camp, but I don't know that it's open to 9th graders.
Okay. Then over to the community service again. If my child has turned in hours, how do we find in areas where they are?
It'll be in the student portal, so the kids can see it right away. Once it's entered, they'll be able to have access to that number and see it grow.
Can the parents see that? Because this parent looks like they were looking and they couldn't.
You know what? I'm not sure what parents can see on their end quite like that.
Okay.
I actually don't think parents can see that in their portal, but
Yeah,
what
probably not.
what we would recommend is stop by and talk to the technician for your AP, depending on which part of the alphabet you're in, and they can pull it up within 2 seconds and let you know where you're at.
Okay. Or get your kid to do it for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Okay, great. Does SPEF offer any AP subjects over the summer?
No.
Great.
Kristen, can you repeat the dead week dates?
Yes, I'm getting to that. So CB, what were the dead week dates again? It's the 6th to the 19th.
June 6th to June 19th, is no sports activity. We come back June 20th is the first possible date.
Right. So the only overlap there with summer school is like that week, that first week, there's a few days after, like
Actually, the first 3 days of summer school, 17th or 17th, 18th, and I believe 17th, 18th. We're off June 19th, and then we come back the 20th, Thursday.
the week before that, they could go on vacation too, because there will be nothing going on
Correct.
that week. That's the week to go on vacation. So the graduation's the 6th, last day is the 6th. That next week, go on vacation, and then you'll start summer school and sports a little bit later. So
And there's
that's-
also on that note, I would tell each parent looking for that vacation time in July, when Mr. Eldridge talked about when the school actually goes on break for 2 weeks. That's also a period where a lot of the sports that aren't fall sports kind of are not practicing very much at all. You could take a look. I think baseball and softball have a little bit, but most of the sports will be off. That's another secondary period before school starts, or any orientation. That would be a secondary time to look for a vacation spot.
CB, well, I've got you. If a student plays a winter sport, will he or she have PE the first semester and not the spring semester?
Correct. They would have PE the first semester. If they're in a winter sport. Now, if that most of all our winter sports have a fall class, both basketballs, both soccers, and actually this next year, water polo is going to add a fall class. So they'll have kind of preseason training. So they would be able to have basically, if you just did girls water polo winter sport, you could have girls water polo on your fall semester, training all the way through that, which kind of equates for the PE credit. And then the water polo season would count towards second semester, and they would have both first and second semester PE ticked off.
Awesome.
On that real note, real quick, Kristen, I was talking a lot about to the 8th grade people the last couple of weeks. I was down at the middle school. We were up talking to the PE in our school has gotten fantastic reviews the last couple, especially this year with Miss Buck, Mr. Murray that we brought in. The PE is so fun now. I mean, I watched some of the classes and I want to jump into them. So I think some of the PE in the past got a bad rap, and I think now it's really turned around this year. And even going to PE in high school is not what the negativity that it had in the past. I think it's a good fit for a lot of kids. I see a lot of kids having fun and enjoying physical education again, which is great to see.
Yeah, from a parent perspective, I've heard that from many parents whose kids were in PE this year, that they are really surprised how much they are enjoying PE, which is cool. If a student's in band and a fall sport, does that count for 2 semesters of PE?
No, I don't think it does. You can only have you'll only be credited just like you can only be credited 1 semester of PE, no matter if you're doing multiple sports in the same semester, or if some people have PE and a sport in the same semester. You can only be credited with PE for one of those activities.
Great. Can a student participate if they wanted to in a fall sport, a winter sport, and a spring sport, or will they overlap and they'll miss out?
Not only can they, I encourage it. I was a 3-sport athlete, so I always think it's fun to do 3 sports. And if they can, we encourage it. As long as our academics can stay with that, and if their academics are high enough where they can do that, then we encourage it. The coaches work very well together. I just started track in spring, and I put out an email to all the coaches saying, please tell your athletes, and I sent out to athletes, you do not have to come to the spring sport until you're completely done with your winter sport. The same thing should happen to each sport going through. As athletic director, I'll make sure our coaches are on top of that, so there's no extra pressure for them to bounce from one sport to another until that sport is complete.
Great. And do you know when the PEP squad cheerleading tryout time is by any chance? Because I don't think we had that on.
Yeah, so I was talking to the coach, and she said that they're going to promote PEP the week before spring break. They're going to go down to the middle school to do some promoting, and then after spring break, they'll have the tryouts.
Okay, great. I will also talk to her and make sure we try and get some of that information, especially to the 8th grade parents. Great question. If we're on vacation and miss the baseball tryout dates, are coaches open to letting athletes try out on alternative dates?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's again goes back to us encouraging communication, number one, I would not just not communicate. So at least the coach knows, hey, there's a kid that's interested. Who knows? Might be, could be a great player that was just not able to, logistically make that small window that we have. So I would reach out to the coach and say, hey, we're very interested. We're not able to make this time, unfortunately, for whatever insert good national park that you want to visit reason. But just let them know, and you can't make it. And then we can use that fall tryout on a case-by-case situation. We're obviously trying to get as much information as we can to the counselors early enough so they can plug in students into their to the right classes early enough for both semesters. But we do understand that there's a case-by-case situation, and I would just communicate to each coach individually about your logistic plans over summer if you cannot make it. And even if you can only make a part of the tryout, you can't make the practices, let them know that. A lot of it's better with pre-communication than
I get milk.
Yeah, there you go. Pre-communication is way better than post-communication. So I would encourage you guys to reach out.
Yeah, and just as an example, one of my friends asked me about the schedule for girls volleyball today, and since CB had just finished it, I sent it to her, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, we're going to be gone for some of the girls. Like they have a camp and a tryout week and everything." And I said, "Just email the coach and see what she says." And she already got back to her and already said, "Have her come as much as she can. We know she's not going to be able to be there. We will evaluate her at that time." So she was really open to it, and already within the last 6 hours got back to her, which was pretty cool.
So communication is the key to that. So
yeah. Can students get PE if they do sports outside school, such as gymnastics?
So we do have a independent study PE option, and it's for students who are who are nationally ranked in an elite sport program. They have to have over 250 minutes of training per week. And this is an independent study course that I run. And there is a final. The students do journaling throughout the year, the semester that they're with me. I have students on the Junior Olympic archery team and fencing team. I do have some squash players. Because we don't offer it at our school. So it's mostly sports that we don't offer at our school that are highly competitive. And like I said, they have to be nationally ranked. And so if your student is interested in something like that, you could reach out to the counseling office, and they have a Google form that you and your child would fill out together. And then I would approve it or not, depending on what the case may be.
Great. So this sounds a little interesting. Apparently, I guess one of the teachers at the middle school is telling them that if they are currently tutoring others in math, they can earn community service hours for high school. So maybe I can put you in touch with them, Miss Blackwood, and you can solve that problem. So we're not going to answer that question right now, I don't think, but we'll let Miss Blackwood get back to that teacher and maybe we'll get something out to you guys. Okay, there was one other question, and then I'm going to move on to the rest of this, which is really me kind of giving you all information about other opportunities. But Amelia, are there volunteer opportunities available during summer school for people other than the parents who need help, but can kids volunteer sometimes too?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are opportunities that are like logistical in nature that have to do with, schedules and getting kids to class and things like that at the elementary school level, and also meaning high schoolers help at the elementary schools. And then also for all of our summer camps, which are not out yet for this coming summer, we can have high school counselors. So if high schoolers want to help with like basketball camp, STEM camp, golf camp, art camp, any number of camps that we offer, we welcome it. And they're usually, week long. There's all sorts of different, chess camp, coding camp, different disciplines they can help with. And I'm sure it'd be lots of fun for them and for the little ones who are taking them.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, it's 8 o'clock. My goal is always to get us out of here in an hour. So I'm going to continue on with my stuff. If you do have questions, please put them in the chat. Even if they're for any of these other participants, if they're still here, it's only 15 minutes. Hopefully they'll still be here if you have questions. But other things, Music Boosters wasn't able to be here today, but they did want to let you know about a few things. So especially if you're an 8th grade parent, a lot of times they have band camp over the summer. Again, tentative dates are here. Their website is musicboosters.com. Again, it's on that PDF that we put in the chat earlier and we'll do again at the end. It's free. It's really great. They also sometimes they participate in the 4th of July parade as well. So Music Boosters has some stuff going on as well. Our library has some opportunities, both our library and other ones. So South Pasadena Library has the Teen Summer Reading Program. You can also volunteer to help with the Teen Summer Reading Program. So there's another volunteer opportunity if your kid really likes to read. There are free audiobooks that there's a program called Sync that usually in late April, students can sign up for and get free audiobooks for the summer. So if they're a big reader and they want to just inhale books and you don't want to buy them or have to go get them at the library, they can get those. And then all South Pasadena, LA, San Marino all have summer reading programs, which are great for our students. The high school has internships. So these are really only for older students. So if you have a current sophomore or junior, they can do an internship over the summer. The summer ones do incur a fee though, because they're sponsored by SPEF. So if they do that, they do have to go through SPEF and sign up for the SPEF ones. But they earn 5 elective credits for 60 hours of their internships. So they can go there and do that. In April, there will be some informational meetings. So your students will see stuff in their Google Classrooms for those coming up in April. The counselor's site, if you go on to SPHS Tigers to students, counselors, enrichment summer programs, they have a whole host of summer programs your children can do from like, going to a college. Like I took a summer program at Boston College for 6 weeks. I got credits for 2 classes, before I was even a senior, international programs, all sorts of things. So they have an entire list on the counselor's website for parents to see. So I want to make sure everybody's aware that that's there. Not a bad idea for your kid to get a job. It's a great learning experience. But just so you know, all students under 18 do need a work permit and that goes through the school. So in just a second, I'll show you that. But it's a great way to learn responsibility. Volunteering is great, but if your kids are like mine, sometimes they go and they volunteer for like an hour and then they're like, kind of bored. Whereas if they have a job, they kind of don't have a chance to go on their phone and be bored because they will get fired. So that's great for them. But just a note also, they didn't have this when I was a kid, but now if you work with food service, my son worked at Jersey Mike's for a while, he had to get a certification and had to pay for that. So that was like $25, something like that. So just know that that is a possibility as well. To get a work permit, you should students should email Miss Strain. Here's her email. Again, it's going to be on that PDF. And she has all the information. If it's in the summer, you can also contact Debbie Ferris. Her email is there as well. But they can go into the main office, get the application. The parent guardian needs to sign it. The employer needs to sign it. They just need good attendance, a GPA of 2.0 or higher, and no Fs in academic classes. And you can see work permits are issued for the entire school year and need to be renewed at the beginning of the following school year. If they change jobs, they need to start the process again. Students' grades and attendance are monitored throughout the school year and permits can be revoked by the school and/or parents. So just so you know, those are still necessary, but your kid can start working at 14. I don't know who will hire them. My son wants to work this summer, but he'll only be 15. So I don't know if that's going to happen. He'd love to work at Chipotle, but they don't hire till 16. But some places might, you never know. So always worth a look. Other ideas for summer jobs, just we thought we'd throw it in here. Movie theater attendant, camp counselor. Camp counselor doesn't always pay, but I do know some people who've paid. Their kids have gone up to be a camp counselor up in like Oregon. Super fun for them. Lifeguard pays great, especially if you've got a water polo player or a swimmer. That's a great thing to do, get a certification. You're going to make $20, $22 an hour. It's going to be amazing. Tons of people are looking for dog sitters when they do go see those national parks we keep talking about. So even your neighbors could be a great way. My neighbors pay way too much to my children. It's embarrassing. I'm always like, don't pay them that much. Don't pay them that much, but it's a great one. So here's some others that we just thought we'd put up here. Also, the California Employment Development Department online has a lot more ideas as well. Also, don't forget to look at your city rec and aquatic centers for all sorts of information stuff to do, not only South Pasadena's, but other close ones, Alhambra, Glendale, Pasadena, San Marino. They even give lifeguarding classes. A lot of times they're so desperate in the summer, LA County, for lifeguards that they'll pay you for your training, and they'll pay you like minimum wage for training and then like $5 more an hour for actual lifeguarding because they're so desperate for lifeguards. So again, great one. Summer schooling, like we said, you can take stuff through SPEF, but if you want to do enrichment classes through PCC, Glendale Community College, any of those places, you can do that. Vecinos de South Pasadena has a great video about free opportunities for summer schooling. So I really highly recommend you watch that. Again, that's in the PDF. Performing arts. If your kid, like my oldest, was into performing arts, there are lots of different, or any kind of arts, there's lots of different arts things out there. LACSA, which is the LA County High School for the Arts, which is just down at Cal State LA. They have an entire summer arts conservatory, which is a great way to go and do some acting or do some other stuff. And it's really fun. And then here's some other ideas. Emily Klein, she now owns the Hive, which is in town, and she's awesome. And she runs some art classes for kids, Armory Arts, LA College of Music, if your kid's into music. These are all great opportunities. And then, you know, I hate to advertise for someone else, but this is a really good fair. So if you're around this Saturday, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Westridge, they do this summer opportunities fair, and they have so many organizations come that you could, I mean, they have colleges, all those other places that I was just talking about, even more places than I was talking about. It's for young kids. I mean, it says kids age 5 to 18. So it's like a college fair. So it's a little overwhelming, but if your kid says, I want to do this kind of thing, you'll be able to go there, and I bet you'll be able to find it. It's a pretty awesome fair. So I highly recommend going to that. Okay, so that is the end of my presentation. I'm going to look for questions again, so please put them in the chat if you have any more. Okay, the first one is, how old does a student have to be for a work permit? 14. So 14 to 17, you need a work permit. Another really good thing to do this summer is, you know, if your kid's old enough, and really they can do it at any point, they could do their online driving school. So, and you could really, I mean, you can start it at 14 if you want to. You just need to have this pink form by the time you're 15 and a half to go to the DMV with. So if your kid's getting close, it's like a 30-hour online class. It's super boring. So it's a great thing to kind of have in your back pocket to just get over with in the summer. So that's another great idea. So are work permits just for South Pasadena or LA? I don't know the answer to that. So I would say, please reach out to Ms. Strain. She can help you with that. I assume so, but I don't know. I mean, if you're going to work maybe in your grandparents' hometown or something like that, I don't know how that would work, but I would assume you could use them for there too if you got it all filled out right. That would be kind of a really cool thing. Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions, so I'm going to just say thank you so much to all of you for being here. It's been lovely being with all of you. Thank you so much to our presenters. I couldn't do this without you. You are all so amazing. I really appreciate everything you do. And especially the fact that I email you in December and say, can you please talk about summer in January? I know that is such a pain in the rear. But all of us parents so appreciate it because it is so stressful figuring out the summer and then knowing you've planned something and then having to change it. So this is so incredibly helpful for us. So thank you all. Have a great night.